And now we turn to local reaction of former President Trump's arraignment. Western Mass News reporter Paris Dunford joining us live after checking in with some college students. Paris.
Chris, that's right. We caught up with many students here on the campus of American International College to hear their thoughts on Trump's arraignment.
It's overwhelming, but at the same time underwhelming.
Former President Donald Trump is now facing criminal charges and was arraigned Tuesday afternoon. For many college students, they were only in middle school when Trump was elected. Western Mass News checked in with them to get their reaction to the news. DK Nasso, a sophomore at American International College, says she's happy Trump is being held accountable, but she doesn't think much will change.
I know at the end of the day, they're probably not going to do anything to him, and he's still going to get an opportunity to run again for president.
We caught up with international student Aiden Knight, who's from Canada, to get his reaction as well.
But that's pretty crazy that a former president was arrested.
And his friend Connor Matson agreed, but he says it doesn't change anything for him personally.
It wouldn't deter me from voting for him personally, but I can definitely see the impact it has on other people.
Now, all three students we spoke with say they'll be interested to see how these criminal charges play out in the courtroom. Reporting live in Springfield, Paris Dunford for Western Mass News.